Welcome and welcome back. This is a very special episode for us because we're looking a little bit back, but mainly forward into the next chapter, into NewMorrow. But before we welcome our new partners on board here, I want to look back a little bit with Florian, with whom I started this project almost a year ago, to the 30 episodes and interviews we did with the great leaders and entrepreneurs. And if we learned one thing, which they all have in common, is that they treat the business like they treat themselves. So good morning, Florian. How are you doing?
Hi, Mario. I'm doing well.
So I still remember when we recorded this first episode of the why, and we challenged each other why we're doing that. So now it's like before we looking forward for a little bit looking back. If you recap all these moments we had together, all these hours we had with our guests, what is something which sticks with you, which is a specific memory or maybe even better, a learning which we can share with our audience, which sticks with you?
Well, as you said, I mean, it's quite a journey. It's almost a year that we started thinking about this podcast, and then beginning of 2024, we started airing the episodes, and now we have 30 or something like that on air. There's a lot of learnings, and some things stick still with me. Above all, I would say, which is common for most of them we talk to, is it's all about the people. That is probably one of the topics that really sticks with me the longer we are doing that. If you would ask me...
It's a topic close to your heart, no? The people topic and the culture topic since the early stages.
Absolutely. I mean, we are in an industry where it doesn't work without the people, and hospitality actually shows it even more how important people are. And the entrepreneurs we interviewed, they cherish that, they honor that, and they know it, of course. But if you ask me specifically what sticks in my mind, there are a couple of quotes which I want to bring up here. One was very early stage from Kathy Johnston, where she said, "Find yourself a work therapist." I actually like that.
Did you found one, Florian?
I didn't look into it yet, but I have to do it, of course, because
I get one.
Yeah, I need one. Number two is kill your ego. Rainer Becker said that. It's also something where I thought, okay, this is something you have to remind yourself more often, especially as an entrepreneur and all these alpha animals, etc., etc. And the third one, and then I stop, is actually Clive Schlee's quote where he said 51% is a majority. So these are basically three quotes that really stick into my mind.
And we can find all of these quotes and even more in our white paper. And the white paper you can find on our website, but also we will put the link directly into the show notes. And I think the white paper is a good hint to introduce our new guests, Florian, because I think without them, we wouldn't have been able to summarize the learnings into the white paper and to set up this great new idea of NewMorrow. So today we want to welcome new partners, but all friends on our podcast. We have here today with us Axel Weber and Tilman Barth from Soda Group. So welcome, guys.
Hey, Mario. Hey, Florian.
Hi,
Absolutely happy to join you.
Yeah.
Before I go deeper with you and into the introduction, I remember I had a coaching call at the beginning of the year, and my coach asked me, what actually is your dream setup of working together? And I said, I have this picture of Ocean's 11, when there's like all these specialists coming together and robbing the casino. Like each of the guys have like a specific skill set, and they meet, and they're all experts in the field, and they're all alpha element, and they all look good. Don't forget, they all look good, the Ocean's 11 people. And they meet for a project together, and they bring all the strength together. And I was asking her, so like, how can I find these people? And suddenly it happened at the same time when I was talking to her in all of my sessions. Suddenly this Ocean's 11 team is together. Now we are only Ocean's 4. but I want to welcome the two new ones here, and I will welcome Tilman first because I will start with the question to him. So Tilman is not just a good-looking guy of the New Oceans 4. He's a communication strategist and a strong marketing thinker. And Tilman is a methodology nerd. I can definitely confirm that, who has a scheme and a process, or at least a paradigm for almost any task. And he also has a PhD in medicine and acts as our private doctor whenever we need one. So in our team, Tilman is the methodologist. Welcome, Tilman, now officially into this great team. When you worked on this white paper and you had the lead on doing that, we analyzed, you told us that we have spoken 1.6 million words, Florian, actually. That's quite interesting. And Dilma, when you listened to all of that and you read the transcript and you helped us to extract the 9 learnings or insights, as we call them in our white paper, which insight of the 9 doing that job was the most surprising to you, Tilman?
Yeah, thank you, Mario, for asking and your kind introduction. I think I think it's absolutely relevant to mention again the quality and the depth of this white paper. I recommend to download it or order it, and to all the listeners, focus on a single sentence per day. Think about one single aspect per day. It's just a fountain of great thoughts, worth thinking and spreading. And Mario, to answer your question, there is not this one single thought that struck me. It's all of them. There's one general impression that I would like to share today. It is this, call it gut feeling, call it professional intuition, or call it leading from within. The huge share of unconscious or intuitive part of decision making was really striking to me. And I appreciate that, because I believe intuition is the basis for creative, inspiring, motivating, and also fast management and business development. And I really appreciate this approach in general. We have almost heard anything about the classic management tools like Kanban, Lean, Six Sigma, or anything like that. Tools that only can maximize efficiency. And I really appreciate that.
And Dilma, when you look at this specific topic, which we always ask, like this exact moment when doubt turns into drive, because I want to stay with you as the analytic one, we always have this turning point, and that's also the name of the podcast and the name of our beginning of the journey, from doubt to drive. And we always have this leader describing this moment of the big doubt, and then something happens. And this specific moment of when the doubt turns into drive, how you felt this moment, and how would you, is there any learning in that specific tipping point to you?
Absolutely. I mean, there's this aspect of intuitive decision making is like a great gift, but bears also some risks. The brain has the larger part of the brain is the intuitive and the non-conscious part. And when the zero moment of truth comes that you are talking about, the unconscious part tells the conscious part that this is the decision to take. And this is the moment when you get from doubt to drive. And this, you cannot explain that, but there is this zero moment of truth. And the important thing is, and there's so in decision making and personality, there's a high dependency between both. So it's really important to like feed and educate this unconscious part of the brain through knowledge, through experiences, and through other things. And I think that one of the best ways to educate this unconscious part of the brain is sharing experiences with others. So this is the way to reflect impressions. This is a way to get deeper into knowledge, or to bring knowledge from knowledge to insights.
I think that's a good change into the future, the next step of our podcast. But before we go to NewMorrow, I just want to have one more hygiene information for you. We keep on doing this podcast, but we changed to twice a month instead of 4 times a month. We got a lot of feedback from you guys that this rhythm of having every week is a little bit too intense. So we're going to reduce the rhythm, and we're going to air from now on every second week a podcast. So you have more time, guys, to digest that. And we have more time to work on our new project, which is NewMorrow. And before I come to NewMorrow, I want to introduce Axel Weber to you. So Axel Weber is our Silberrücken, I think is the German word for it. It's the silverback. So in the Ocean 11, he would be the George Clooney, so to say, the wise one, the more experienced one, and he's a part of the European hospitality scene, and he's always known for being curious and looking ahead and embracing the doubts and the challenges of our industry. Axel is a serial entrepreneur, and you all know him from founding the Soda Group, a leading firm for architecture and design. But he was also launching several other restaurant and hotel concepts, and he held top industry positions at Starbucks, at Design Hotels, at Marriott, and he acts also as an advisor to the global investors such as EQT. Axel lives in Berlin and Portugal. In our team, Axel is the navigator. So officially now, Axel, welcome on board. So Axel, we are in an era of rapid change, and we would like you to analyze with your experience and perspective for our listeners here, which you believe are the biggest challenges of our industry at that moment.
Yeah, happy to do so. Thank you, Mario. Anyway, and I'm super happy to be George Clooney here in this round and not Al Pacino. I had I was a little nervous that it could be Al Pacino, but thank you so much. So getting serious, yes, we are in an era of super rapid and radical changes, and we have to handle them, and we have to take advantage. Just to mention 2 of them before I mentioned for me, the most important one is we have to take and handle advantage of quantum jumps in technology. Never ever in our industry we are facing these rapid developments of technology, and that's a big challenge. On the other side, I think we also have to find real solutions for all aspects of climate change. That's for me personally a huge challenge also for our industry. But if you ask me, I think the biggest question in the future is how we will and how we want to work in the future. For me, the era of the all-knowing, tough-minded CEO, sometimes very lonesome. The how do you say, the imperial CEO is over. So what will be the winning formula in the future? How are you going to lead your teams? How will your teams come back to you? So when we did the white paper together, I was super enthusiastic about the human side of leadership, what I heard and what you discussed with every participant. You know? So when we look down the road, I think NewMorrow just will focus on these insights, and we will work on this very, very, let's say, human-centric leadership approach, because asking me, that's one of the biggest challenges we have to face in the future. How can we create an environment which is empathic, balanced, inspiring for the teams? And if you remember COVID, I mean, even only in Germany, more than 100,000 people left the industry, and because they thought, where are we going? So here we need strong, very, very, let's say, human-centric leadership to face these huge challenges. We are in an industry, it's all about people, and so how can we change that in the future? And I think, yeah, that's something we all of us we will work on.
I think that was all what brought us together. And when Florian and I started this podcast, we didn't know yet where it will lead us. And then when you guys joined and you helped to I said distill the learnings and also plan what is the next chapter. The next chapter, guys, is NewMorrow. And this podcast was also to look back, to get you into the white paper, but also discuss what you're gonna expect from us and this NewMorrow. And NewMorrow is a platform, a community approach, and it will basically lead into physical events to meet, to discuss, and to exchange. And the first event, which you can find in the show notes, will be an event in Greece. It will be in the beginning of April. And thanks to the connection of Axel, we found a great location. But it's not so much about the location. We want to discuss now about the content and what to expect. And I want to start with you, Axel, to look at this event and what can our participants expect from this different approach of meeting or offsite or think tank or whatever we want to call it. What can they expect, Axel?
Look, I mean, again, if I was listening to your conversations in From Dot to Drive, and that inspired me totally to join forces with you guys and to see what's next and what are our friends in the industry looking for. So I think everybody is looking for a platform or community where we can share knowledge and deep insights. So what's happening, what's going on, and what has really influenced me in the past and what will influence me in the future. So I think it's a logical development that we now design this kind and call for this gathering. You know, we call for a gathering in a remote place, and I think it's very important that we meet somewhere where we have the peace and freedom. I mean, we all love the big conferences, and we meet everybody every year there, and it's absolutely lovely. I was part of this for a long time, and it's absolutely necessary. But I think we need a place where a group of people can meet in peace and freedom and dive deep into the questions, where are we going in the future? And that's what we will do in Greece, and asking for the promise. The promises we carry on. That's very important. I think we carry on, we keep on exploring. We take the doubts and the questions of and the knowledge of our counterparts serious, and we carry on and build, let's say, a collaborative platform for these creative and great minds. And that's what I heard. Even I was in Amsterdam a few weeks ago with Florian, and that's what I heard a lot of times. So let's get together and really work hard on what comes next. And it's actually a journey of continuously learning. And we don't know it all. The Red Pack here on the phone, we don't know it all. We know something, and I think it's kind of, our function is kind of a catalyst. You know, we try to get the great minds together and really dive deep and then see what comes in and what goes out.
And I think what I also want to point out, that we, with this first event, take also the luxury, I think, to choose who should be there. It's a very intimate event. It's maximum 25 people. And we also choose a completely different approach. We do it at cost. So basically, we pledge all of our profits and margin and times, and really say, instead of like getting a price for something which is priceless anyway, we just charge the costs we have, but then it gives us the luxury to really pick who should be there. And if you hear that and if you feel like you're part of that, shaping the future of the hospitality, then please contact us. You find our contact details in the show notes, and you find us online. Send us an email, send us a text, tell us why you want to be there, and we're gonna find a place for you. And we're also gonna send you questions we have been working on, and we started with 10 questions, and you're also gonna find them on our social media in the upcoming days, or contact us. And now I want to take one of these question, which actually is quite a difficult one, to the smartest one in the room, Florian, which since the old musketeer days is always you. The difficult in the question is the simplicity of it. And it says like, the question is, Florian, to you specifically, what will be your contribution to create value in the future? Sounds so simple. Quite a tricky one, designed by our methodologist Dillman here, who is smiling that you get the question, Florian. So what's your answer?
Simple questions require difficult answers, I guess. No, I mean, as I said before, the industry and what we were talking about the past 15 minutes already showed it a lot. We all have a passion and a love for that industry because it is a special social ecosystem, so to speak. It brings people together. It overcomes cultural, ethical, social borders. Without restaurants and without food, the social existence could not really work. And that actually brings me to the idea of NewMorrow and also what I could contribute to, or to how I could add value to that. And Axel said it. I mean, we are facing very challenging times. He said quantum leaps of technology are ahead of us. Artificial intelligence, automation. We have staff shortage that we have to tackle, climate change, etc., etc. You can actually explore a broad field of crisis around us, and to bring a little bit of direction into that could be something where I would say maybe this could be a little value I can add. We cannot do it alone, but we can create a platform where people actually can exchange, and where we facilitate, so to speak, a forum where people can exchange and try to discuss those future challenges. For me personally, I would say I want to try support this transformation with our platform, with the knowledge exchange that we provide, and maybe with a clearer eye on the future of hospitality. We have to do it somehow together. So the question is a little bit, or the answer might be a little bit cheesy right now because it is so complex, even though it is a simple question. But we are not facing easy times ahead, but and this is just what I feel and how I personally feel, there's always an optimistic approach towards, and a positivity towards the future. And I think this is something where I want to be strong in, and also within our NewMorrow project, where I think I could contribute a little bit.
And I think, Florian, it's so complex and yet so simple, because when I was preparing for that call, I was reading the white paper, obviously, by ourselves, and I looked through all the great minds we had here, creative minds, as Tillman called them. And I think if you take just 10 out of the 30 people we have, not even all the 30, just 10 of them, and give them the room, the time, and the space to put their heads together, I think there is no problem in our world which couldn't be solved. So I think our role is just to provide that space and forum. And that's, for me, NewMorrow, because that's the beauty. We have the answers in the collaboration, but as Axel said, in all of the events and conferences, as much as we love them, they are full with content, and there's not enough room and space and time to actually digest that and discuss that, and also be brutal and say, okay, these are the 5, 10, 20 people we need in the room to solve that. And I have huge expectations towards of us, and huge hope also that we can create that space and that forum, and with our network also reach out to the right people and be persistent and says, we need you there. Get into that plane in April, fly to Greece, and funny enough, the location which Axel picked is a sanatorium, like a mental health institution, which also I think says a lot about this different approach.
But Mario, I will turn, even though you said a lot already, but I want to turn that question also to you. How do you want to contribute and create value in the future?
I think, look, when we put this Oceans 4 team together, we understood that we have a lot of similarities, but we also have different strengths. And I think one of my strengths is to bring the people together, to connect them, to motivate them to do something out of the box and come there. And there's based on our relationships, we had quite a high level of trust to get them there. So I see NewMorrow like as a connector, facilitator, and impulse giver there, and also somebody who will follow up and follow through, because that's the other thing which we're going to discuss in a second. That one thing will be to have that great think tank and to have all these ideas, but then we need the follow-ups, the commitment keeper, as Axel said, that to remind us all what we have actually decided, because we then jump into the plane, we go back home full of energy from Greece, full of ideas, and then reality hits, and all of us are back into the struggles. And I think also our role, besides being the curator and facilitators and all the names would have been named as our roles, is then to be the commitment keeper. And that's why we don't see that just as a one-off event in Greece. We were going to have checkups or whatever we're going to call them, follow-up camps, to really make sure we are there to follow up and make sure we're going to follow through.
I mean, our industry, hospitality industry, is about hosting people. And this is what we're going to do in Greece with the first NewMorrow think tank. And therefore, we need great people. And I think we found great people. Tilman is one of them. And Tilman, as you are reflected and a wise man, and you have a feeling of humankind, we figured out that money is not anymore the biggest motivational driver nowadays. How can we reward our people in the future? What is your take on that?
Florian, earlier today, we talked about the importance or the relevance of unconscious decision making. And this, I think, is really important to consider when it turns to the point what motivates people in the future. And I strongly believe, also from your interviews you have conducted, that in the future, the irrational, unconscious drivers for motivation will get increasingly important. And to put it this way, people will tend to seek for partnership, but simply for purpose. The times of purpose, like the church you go to, you believe in something and you share that, I believe is more or less over. People are seeking for relationships, long-term relationships, short-term relationships as well. And, belonging and participation in something will be key drivers for people to make decisions, and to commit to a business will strongly depend on how partnerships are designed. And I call that I have to read that, expediential. We probably have to cut that.
Oh my God! I think we don't need to cut that, because if there's a word which even our methodologist is not able to speak out, then it's definitely a difficult one, guys.
Absolutely, this is like the proof of concept that you're absolutely right. Let's put it this way:
Get the simpler one.
Their people have to design a journey together. And I really say together, because it needs two parts, not the entrepreneur who sends out a purpose everybody has to believe in and follow. But it's a journey that people design together and change over time. So the answer is motivation through partnership, but simply purpose.
This is also something actually that bonds us together. We are highly motivated. I'm really looking forward to our partnership in the future. And I see Axel is actually waving. So Axel, what's your take on that?
I was laughing, and I just finally I will just make a little comment because of our Ocean's 11 or 13 or 14 story. Look, why do we like these highly criminal guys on screen there? Because they are balanced, inspiring, vulnerable, humble, They're just nice. They are highly criminal. They go, they rob whatever they can, but they are humble, they're empathic, they're inspiring, and
Professional.
unprofessional. So yes, that's why I was laughing listening to you guys. Okay.
We are not criminal.
No, we are not.
No,
but that's basically what drives people, you know.
I
So
know.
that's why they connect.
Emotions.
Emotion,
Way of
determination.
risk-taking.
Yeah, absolutely. Mario, looking forward to our new chapter, NewMorrow, and we talked already quite a lot about it and the first event in Greece. But I know you love events like that. So what are you specifically excited about that?
I think we all learned that from our friend who was also here in the podcast, Tobias Beck, who really taught us, Florian, in all of the great events to get to together. Is one is to build the frame to make sure we have the right location, we have the right setup, and this time it will be very much driven by reality, by real stuff. To be in the forest out there's a beautiful nature around that, and Florian and me will be there in December to even scout more locations around there. So one thing is what I'm looking for is really to make sure we have the right frame. And the frame is driven by space, by time, but also quietness. And then it's like you build this stage and then the actors are coming. And this is like our job to pick the most suitable 25 guests and the right mix of it, because it's always about the mix. As I said, like there's probably, as we said, if we pick 10 out of our 30 guests and we put them on a specific topic, they're going to solve that. And another 10 will solve this topic. And it's really about this curation and then being there and seeing that all coming together. That's something I'm really like very excited. Now it's beginning of October. So you could say now why we take so much time and why we're doing it in April. It was not easy to find the right time when people really can take time. And also this is basically the start of NewMorrow, this episode. And that's why we're going to air that to make sure when we reach out to you, you have a clear understanding what's actually going to happen, and to make sure that you understand our approach and you're willing to contribute your time to come to us to Greece and contribute to this NewMorrow.
Shape the future of hospitality.
Shape the future of hospitality. So as you can hear, guys, I'm really, really excited about Greece and even more to now have this great partnership with Soda Group, and especially now Axel and Tilman joining Florian and I. Before I come to almost the last question, I want to also thank a few partners here. We have a media partner from day one, Deutsche Fachverlag. You probably know that under the food service magazine with the event in Amsterdam, and they've been media partner from day one, and we're very thankful to have them on board. We also found 3 friends and partners and industry sponsors to support us. We have Coca-Cola on board, we have Nestle Waters on board with San Pellegrino and Aquabana, and we have our friend Tama with Global Meat on board, who believed to us from the early beginning and who support us a little bit here and there, not just with money, but what we really want them to have basically them on the table is with content and also with the role in the future. And we're going to open up that family of partners, because we're not just collecting logos and money to put them on some paper or website. We really want or need the industry partners on the table to create with us that future of hospitality. But now here, a big thank you to the people behind that brands who believed in us from the early beginning. So, Axel, the last question to the Silberrücken, to the George Clooney and the team. What is your pledge? What is your promise at the end of this podcast to our community? What can they expect from you in this role of NewMorrow? What can they expect from us? What's the pledge we're giving here?
Again, I said it already. I think what you can expect that we're carrying on, that we absolutely carry on that journey, and that we will create a platform and a room for real deep discussions and deep insights. And that's not only about content and strategy, it's all about yourself. So that's that's what you felt when we were talking to your counterparts. So that's our promise. We will create a new room for a different kind of dialogue. And that's what I felt especially in the last 3 years. I mean, we had so many discussions and so many calls and meetings with friends. With friends and leaders of the industry. And I think they really say, look, we would like to meet in a certain environment and discuss deeply what's driving us from inside and what comes next. And yes, that's our promise. We will create that journey. And the journey will be a continuous learning for all of us.
And we're gonna keep on delivering. So we have a few messages at the end of that podcast to summarize also some hard facts. Number one, the podcast will come now every second week instead of every week. So don't be surprised if you find 2 weeks in a row the same episode. Take your time, listen to that. Take also the time, point number 2, to really digest the white paper. The white paper is not just a paper you download as a PDF and you read through. As Tillmann suggested, take one thought, take one quote, stay with it, stay schwanger, stay pregnant with it, as we say in German, and keep it with you. You find the white paper for free on our website, www.new-morrow.com. You just need to leave us your email address that we can stay in contact, but it's absolutely free. And once you download it, feel free to share it with your friends and with your team, because we want to spread that. Number 3, if you get the appetite and if you say, I want to be part of that NewMorrow, please reach out to us. Reach out to Axel, reach out to Florian, reach out to Tillmann, reach out to me, or apply just on our website to be part of that event in Greece in April. And also look out and ask us for the 10 questions. The 10 questions are just the starting point, but we have to start somewhere. And these 10 questions will make you already thinking on what you're going to expect there. And even if you don't make it to Greece, nevertheless, take this question, take them home and answer them for yourself and together with your team. That was a very special episode because we are, first of all, the team increases. We are very international call today from different places. I'm already looking forward to come home to Europe and to meet with my new partners and fellows and to create everything what comes now. So thanks to the community for trusting us from day one, from increasing. We got like every week new listeners, and that's really nice to see. Also, please, as Florian and I have been asking from day one, keep us sending us inputs, remarks. What do you like? What you don't like? What guests should we get? Like, besides working on the white paper and on NewMorrow, we're going to keep on working on our podcast and also improving the quality of that. So stay tuned, stay curious, and follow us into the NewMorrow.
Wow, we hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as we did. But sharing is not just caring, it is also empowering. So recommend this podcast to fellow entrepreneurs who might need a dose of inspiration. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss out on future episodes. Thank you for being part of the community from Doubt to Drive Entrepreneurs Only. Mario and Florian are already gearing up for the next episode. Until then, stay tuned, stay driven, and we'll be back next week.